Hello, friends. UFC 322 just around the corner. It will be tomorrow. I'm coming in kind of at the last minute here. I would have came in earlier, but I tried to film this video yesterday. Slight technical difficulties. I tried filming it again today 2 or 3 times. I did film it, and I'm having problems recording on my MacBook specifically. It's just not saving these videos, so I decided to take a break, compose myself, come back, and we did it in little clips. And that's actually why I'm even making this new intro that will serve as the regular intro for the video. If there's a bit of a weird flow with this video, abrupt cuts in between my picks, that will explain it. It's because I literally recorded each of the picks on their own as its own 1.5 to 2.5 minute clip and threw them all together at the end. So if it's a strange vibe, there's going to be multiple times where you catch me literally doing my intro cue. This is like my visual cue, like, hello, friends. I bring my hand, hello, friends, like... So you'll see me like reaching up and doing that stuff out of instinct, but that's because I'm literally doing a new recording every time. I digress. Long enough intro anyways. Please enjoy. I hope to see you all tomorrow for the Smoky Hours Fight Companion. UFC 322 Smoky Hours Fight Companion. Going to be crazy. Usually we have a nice bigger audience for the pay-per-views. Hopefully tomorrow is not different. Regardless, we've been building up a nice community that grows every week almost, grows every other week, really. Hop in there tomorrow, whenever the fights start for you, whenever the UFC 322 early prelim opener starts, I will be live for every single fight, watching every minute of the fights, talking, chatting, coping, seething, going crazy, screaming. But we have a great time in there, smoking big gas, bets on almost every fight. You just got to be there. You got to be there. Hope to see you. No. Enjoy the video. Very spooky. Not a lot of people know about Ethyn Ewing. I'm included in that. Don't get it twisted. Malcolm Wellmaker has been on a tear. Undefeated pro, 10 wins, 0 losses, a lot of finishes. Highlight finishes over dudes with chins like Chris Matheus. Ethyn Ewing, though, from what I saw in the short little bit of tape that I had access to, which I'm going to try to throw it up in the background here. Man did get a crazy slick finish in Uriah Faber's A1 promotion for, I believe, the 135, the bantamweight strap. I think Ethyn Ewing might be a little bit of a force to be reckoned with here. That fight of his was last week, so he will be fighting a week, each week essentially for 2 weeks. Like, man fought fight last week. He's fighting another fight this weekend on short notice. That's why I say that. I say that to say this. On short notice. Malcolm Wellmaker was prepared for multiple opponents, essentially. Man was prepared for, first off, a really tough opponent in Susurkaev. Susurkaev gone to war with some monsters to get into the UFC. That's just first off. But dude is a technical striker, has a bit of a chin. I think that they were going to give this guy, Malcolm Wellmaker, a bit more of a favorable matchup against Cody Haddon, who had stepped up against Susurkaev. Cody Haddon is now out, or he's been announced that he would be out of this fight. I believe he has a broken foot. Ethyn Ewing taking this fight on short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker, saving this fight on the card, and it has now become the prelim opener. We are still going with Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm going to say by round 1 KO TKO. Here's the thing, though. Ethyn Ewing really is nice. I was going to kind of vibe pick. I was going to vibe pick off rip and go with Ethyn Ewing. Ethyn Ewing has a real chance. I'm interested to see in what Ethyn Ewing can do. But short notice, just the odds are really against Ethyn, to put it bluntly. Viacheslav Borshchev versus Matheus Camilo. Kind of spooky hours, just a tiny bit here. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know I'm a fan of Viacheslav Borshchev, a.k.a. Slava Claus. Great nickname, Slava Claus. I've seen that man go through some wars. Maybe he's come out with the incorrect decision once or twice, but man has also just taken some straight-up hard losses. Also a decent win over Hame Yontop, a.k.a. James Yontop. Peruvian lad. I digress. Man is facing Matheus Camilo. Up-and-coming Brazilian shoot-a-box fighter. The same way that I jacked that, it's important for dudes to be developed in the UFC. Even though man wasn't developed in shoot-a-box gym, he was developed in the shoot-a-box fighting promotion, which actually has produced some good dudes. Some good dudes have hopped into the UFC from there. I do believe that Matheus will win And the reason why is because I just think Viacheslav is just on a downward tear. Now, downward spiral. Some people might think the trend has to turn around eventually, and it probably will be with Matheus. Viacheslav has fought way better dudes. And I've said that as of late as a supporting argument for my picks, but I don't know. There's a chance that Viacheslav gets taken down. Man can't do anything. Viacheslav himself does have spooky power, nice boxing combinations that he can land, but he does struggle sometimes. He's very hittable. He's very beatable. Matheus, as a whole in his career, just really has shown that he can finish fights at least. Man does have some skill. I'm interested in taking a chance. It's not good to maybe base the foundation of a pick off pure chance, but I'm willing to take a chance on Matheus Camilo here. I might be wrong. I'm way more of a fan of Slava Claus than I am Matheus Camilo, but we're going to go with Matheus Camilo here by decision. Moving on to the third fight of the night, Baisangur Susurkaev versus Eric McConico. Eric McConico, one of my favorite Tapology pictures, man, looks like Homer Simpson to me, just like a black Homer Simpson with his thumbs up. It's hilarious. Check it out. Baisangur Susurkaev, that name might ring a few bells. That was the dude who not too long ago fought twice in 1 week, essentially. He fought in Dana White Contender Series to get into the UFC. Won in spectacular fashion. And then he had another fight. Stepped in on short notice and won in the UFC. I forget actually who he won against. Against Eric Nolan. It was against Eric Nolan. But that was a good finish. That was a good fight. Baisangur seems to be a dude trying to really, really, really break out. This will get you into the good favor of the UFC. Eric McConico brought in kind of as a sacrifice against Nurulstan Roziboev. The sacrifice went according to plan, but Eric McConico has shown that actually there might be a little bit more to his game. Man did have a decent win that was maybe a little bit controversial against Cody Brundage, but I don't think Cody Brundage is the worst. So it's actually, whatever that's worth to you, really, take it for what it is. The win over Cody Brundage, really not the worst. It's a win in the UFC at least. I am going to go with Baisangur. All that being said, I'm going with Baisangur Susurkaev by round 1 KO TKO. I do think man will get it. Extremely aggressive and powerful strikes coming from Baisangur Susurkaev, and they come in combinations coming forward. I don't know if Eric McConico will be able to deal with it. Moving on, Angela Hill versus Fatima Kline. This is going to be an emotional pick. I don't know. Can a man have one emotional pick? One emotional pick? Not even every card. Just like once in a while. Like, God. Because if there is one emotional pick that I will hang on to, I'm really trying to get back to rational and logical picks, so to speak. A little bit of redundant. But you know what I mean. I'm not trying to really go crazy with underdogs or crazy on fucking short notice replacements here. Or washed older fighters in that same regard. But I do think Angela Hill legitimately has a chance here against Fatima Kline. Fatima Kline, if she can't get a takedown, can't exert the physical advantages, the youth advantages over Angela Hill, I don't think that she's a better technical fighter, definitely not technical striker than Angela Hill, and I think Angela Hill should win by decision. There's a couple of Angela Hill's losses that should be wins recently. She should have a lot more. Angela Hill at 41, putting in massive fucking work and looking pretty good while doing it. I like Angela Hill here. It's going to be a bit of an emotional pick, but not the most emotional pick in the world. Angela Hill by decision, final pick. Moving on to Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. This is spooky hours. Chepe Mariscal, I was surprised that man is the dog here. I'm surprised that man's the underdog here, but the more I thought about it, the more it makes sense. I think if you think about it for a little bit, it might already make sense to you just off rip. Pat Sabatini is probably the more dangerous fighter here, meaning the fighter more apt to find the finish. Maybe not on the feet, but a KO TKO isn't out of the question via ground and pound for Pat Sabatini. And I do think it's a higher possibility, or at least it's not so behind Chepe Mariscal's chance to knock out Pat Sabatini. But the chance of Pat Sabatini to also get a sub way higher than Chepe. I think that's what Vegas thinks. And Pat Sabatini 100% has a chance to finish Chepe Mariscal. Might take him down and expose him. Might make this look like a foolish pick, honestly. But I think that Chepe Mariscal can stay on his feet. Man has really good defensive wrestling, good takedown defense, is competent on the ground. Man's a dog. He's a fucking dog. And if he can keep Pat Sabatini at bay, I think he wins. I think he wins by decision. Very calm. Moving on to a very spooky one here. Gerald Meerschart, GM3 versus Kyle Daukaus, the Darce Knight. Kyle Daukaus coming off of an insane finish over a pretty big name in Michel Pereira. That was absolutely wonderful. I always love to see Michel Pereira get packed out. GM3, on the other hand, the fall from grace kind of continues. I don't know what to say. It's not particularly that. It's really just GM3's chin was never valid like that. GM3 himself is actually a good fighter. This is another fight where the odds are completely, outrageous, I believe. GM3 is coming in as a huge underdog in this fight. Kyle Daukaus, massive favorite, when I really don't think he should be. GM3, I think, is 100% the better fighter here. It's just the chin of GM3 is so fucking bad that I have to pick Kyle Daukaus. It's just a tentative Kyle Daukaus pick. GM3 might win by submission in round number 1. But if that doesn't happen, I think it's Kyle Daukaus winning by KO in round number 1 or early round number 2, which is ultimately what the pick is. Kyle Daukaus by round 1, KO TKO. Now, GM3 could win, like I said, make Kyle Daukaus look like he doesn't belong in the same cage as him. But I just can't trust GM3 to not get chinned straight up. Straight up. We are going with Kyle Daukaus, who did look great in his last fight. I think is trying to make the best of his second UFC run. Moving on, Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. Now, this one should be terrifying. Again, I'm going to reference what I just said recently about rational picks, trying to stick with the rational picks, non-emotional picks, right? If I was going to go with an emotional pick, funny enough, I'd kind of go with Tracy Cortez here. Some of you... I'm getting a fucking phone call. Some of you may not know this, but Erin Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez have already fought. This is actually Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez 2. Now, Tracy Cortez won their first fight, which was in Invicta by split decision. Since then, that was early in both of their respective careers. Since then, they've both shown massive improvements. I do think that Erin Blanchfield, though, has just improved more, to be completely honest with you. It might sound completely scary. Maybe Tracy Cortez just has Erin Blanchfield's number. It's sometimes like that in the fight game. But when I look at them as of late, I could see this fight playing out very similar to Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez, where Tracy Cortez, a lot of momentum in her career, getting good wins, good successive, increasing, ramping up wins in competition, rankings, all that good stuff. But then when she got to Rose, she got skill-checked hardcore, smoked by Rose, packed out by Rose. I could see Erin doing that. I could see this being kind of like a little bit of a harder skill check, but they're kind of similar fighters too, Erin Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez. I don't think maybe technique for technique or but kind of similar styles, very similar. I just think Erin Blanchfield just has improved more and therefore is a little bit better in that same style. And that is the basis of the pick. We're going with Erin Blanchfield by decision. Moving on to real spooky hours again. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodrigues, a.k.a. RoboCop. This is one that I went back and forth on, right? My initial pick, Gregory Rodrigues. I'm going with RoboCop. RoboCop's a monster. Not invincible, but more often than not, he's going to literally pack the other fucking guy out. Roman Kopylov, on the other hand, has kind of had a bit of a fall from grace. Man was on a crazy finishing streak. Unbelievable technique. The high kick is insane. The head kick is insane from Roman Kopylov, right? But then there's a couple skids, starting with the Fluffy loss. The Fluffy loss was so hype. The Fluffy fight, Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov, was so fucking hyped, man. That was like a main event. It was a main event, but it was already fire as fuck. It was just Was it a main event, actually? I don't remember. That fight was so hyped because it was two killer dudes, going at it. Non-champs. Since then, Roman Kopylov's kind of lost that status of being a real killer. He was considered with Gregory Rodrigues, with Anthony Hernandez. Maybe not anymore. I do think we're going to see a return of this kind of Roman Kopylov. The more and more I think about it, I just feel like this fight is kind of a good matchup stylistically for Roman. Gregory Rodrigues is a pressure fighter, yes, which sometimes Roman actually has struggled with, just pressure. Obviously, Anthony Hernandez, number one example. But Gregory's very open to getting hit, sometimes relies on his own chin, has nasty power, but Roman Kopylov, I like to also think, is the way more technical striker and is a counter striker. Man actually does think about the counters. He gets out of there. He plays off of it. Very fast hands, very slick disguised kicks that often come with good setups before them. So I'm going with Roman Kopylov here. I'm going with the late KO TKO. That's the thing. Roman Kopylov sometimes gets these highlight fucking later round KO TKOs by head kick too, especially last fight fucking against Chris Curtis. Because it comes after the volume. Man is touching you with some hard shots all fight, then the fucking kick just comes up. Shin to chin. It's over. It's over. And I can kind of see that. Roman Kopylov by round 3, KO TKO. That is the pick. Moving on to Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Going with another underdog here. Roman Kopylov was the underdog in the last fight. I'm going with another underdog in Rodolfo Vieira. Bo Nickel, welcome back. Bum Nickel. Back on the prelims. I say back on the prelims. On the prelims where man should have started and honestly should never have left. Bo Nickel was pushed heavily by the UFC. Got one of the best fraud checks in probably UFC history by RDR, Renier de Ritter. I digress. He's making his return. I think that this is actually a really hard fight for Bo. Maybe the striking is a lot more even, and Bo's obviously a better wrestler than Rodolfo Vieira. But Rodolfo Vieira, I have to think, is a way better just jiu-jitsu practitioner, a grappler on the ground. When the fight is strictly on the ground, even if he's on the bottom, I think Rodolfo should be able to actually find the sub here against Bo. I would find it hard to believe that this fight doesn't go to the ground. Maybe the first round is a bit of a kickboxing fight, a bit of the grappler versus grappler phenomenon. Maybe mans are content with striking it out in the first round, but I think when the fight does go to the ground, maybe even Bo Nickel is able to bring the fight to the ground, get Rodolfo Vieira down easily too. But I like to think that Rodolfo should take control on the ground, no matter if he's on the top or the bottom, and find a finish. I'm going to go with Rodolfo Vieira by round 2 submission. Moving on to Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. First off, I want to get something right out of the way. This might be a biased pick. I'm going with BSD by first round KO TKO. I love watching fucking Beneil Dariush get knocked out, get finished. It makes me bite my lip. Obviously, not with sexual pleasure, just normal pleasure. Not even pleasure. It's ecstasy. It's fucking euphoric. It's ecstasy. It can't be euphoric. It's just straight ecstasy. Like, it's fucking fire. I love watching it. I can describe it in detail. I've described it in detail to many people. It scared them. I don't want to scare you. BSD, round 1 KO TKO. Nasty power. Benny getting KO'd in the gym. Benny missing weight. Benny and the Jets. And we move on. Round 1 KO TKO for BSD. Benny. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. The Nightmare. The Nightmare returns, man. Coming off of an insane win. Carlos Prates and Leon Edwards on the other side of that coin, trying to stop a skid that he's found himself in. This should be an insane matchup. We are on the main card now. We've been on the main card, I believe. Actually, no. BSD versus Beneil Dariush was the first fight on the main card. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira was the featured prelim of the night. But returning back to Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. I'm going with Carlos Prates here. I'm going with Carlos Prates by round 2 KO TKO. Some shit that he's done before, essentially. I could see this fight playing out similar to Trevin Giles versus Carlos Prates. Trevin's landing, it seems to be a close fight into the later rounds, and then Carlos essentially sparks him out, just one-shots him. Leon is a very dangerous striker, right? When I go with the finish for Carlos Prates, that's not because I think Leon's a bum. A lot of people are saying Leon's a bum, Leon's quit, he's on his way out. Carlos Prates being one of those people. I don't know if that's the case, if that's the extent that everyone else is saying. Leon's a very dangerous dude, former champion that should be respected as such. He's a striker, too, man. He's a technician. Man might be a decision merchant, but you have to be nice to be a decision merchant regardless. The reason why I go with Carlos Prates, the momentum, the power, and there's some other spooky stuff about Carlos Prates I'm still investigating that might come up to light. But all of that has led me to believe that he will get the KO TKO. Maybe he doesn't. Leon Edwards could absolutely win by decision. I think Carlos Prates could also win by decision. I was thinking maybe the tweakiest, scariest outcome is Leon Edwards starts shooting for takedowns off rip because he picked up a couple tricks from fucking Bilal. You know, like it could be like that. I don't think it will be like that. Carlos Prates also, just of his own accord, maybe super slow to start, similar to Ian Gary, just never really gets shit going kind of until the end and loses the fight because of it, like just finds himself down 2 rounds against Leon. Because Leon's good. If you give him 2 rounds, he's going to fucking take him. He will win those 2 rounds off of you. It's not like it's going to be hard fought. He will. So this will be a little bit spooky. Carlos Prates, minor favorite here. I am going with him round 2 KO TKO. Again, that is the pick. Moving on. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales, the featured fight of the night. Very spooky. We are going with this man, Michael Morales, and I'm saying round 1 KO TKO. I don't know if it's going to be round 1, but I'm going with the KO TKO of Michael Morales. I think this is going to end in decisive fashion for either man, though. Sean Brady might get a submission, might get a finish, maybe even it's by KO TKO via ground and pound, or he might get a dominant decision that comes after dog walking Michael Morales for 3 rounds. Here's the thing. I think Michael Morales is an extremely dangerous striker with deceptively good grappling, and like defensive grappling especially. And he should have a juicy fucking size advantage coming into this one. Crazy reach advantage. Now, Sean Brady is nice enough that I think he can easily overcome that reach advantage, especially if he can get the takedowns. But I like to think that Michael knocks him out here. The power, the vibes, the zesty sus vibes of Michael. Yeah, but there is explanations for it. Trust, like some shit I can't explain, but like the thirst trap, that's mine. You may have seen videos. Como no paga bien la UFC, toca viuda. Oye, como no paga bien UFC, toca viuda. And then I'll throw in one of my favorites where men's fucking doing thirst traps about his ex on the beach. Like when you see your ex on the beach and you just gotta... Can't see me thrusting, but that's basically what man's fucking hitting. And I'm going to recreate that video. Trust, I'm going to recreate that video for real. It's just going to be a surprise drop. You're not going to know when you're going to see it. I digress. I say all that to say this. Michael Morales, round 1 KO TKO. It might not be round 1, but we are going with the KO TKO for Michael Morales. Although it might be very spooky, and Sean Brady might dog walk him. Moving on to the co-main event of Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang. Went back and forth on this one. Initial pick, Valentina Shevchenko. Went over to Weili Zhang, but I'm back with Valentina. I'm back with Valentina because despite Weili being a little bit younger, maybe a little less mileage, and Chinese roids, I think Valentina is the better technical fighter. Weili may be the better grappler, actually, straight up. But striker, I think Valentina is a little bigger. I think she should be the better striker, and I do think that it's possible for her to one last time keep Weili just at range. Just at range, like... I have to ask yourself a question. How well do you think Weili Zhang would have done against Amanda Nunes? Because Valentina's fought Amanda Nunes. She hasn't beaten Amanda Nunes, but she's fought her, and she hasn't gone fucked up like that. So, granted, that's MMA math shit. That's really women's kickboxing math shit, but... If Weili can't get takedowns on Valentina, I don't think that she wins the fight, plain and simple, and she might actually even take a lot of punishment trying to get in on Valentina to do so. If she can get a takedown, that might be the entire fight. It might be Weili just getting the takedowns, like similar to how she did against Yan Xiaonan. Maybe not as extreme, like not to the level of dog walking, but something similar. But we are going to go with Valentina Shevchenko by decision. And now for the final main event of the night, UFC 322, the UFC Welterweight Championship bout. Jack Della Maddalena defending his title versus Islam Makhachev, the challenger. Man's coming up from 2 weight classes, coming from deep to try to take this belt. Ultimately, I think he will. I think he will by round 2 submission. This might sound simple. All of these fights are going to sound simple, and I should have already explained why they're going to sound super simple. All these breakdowns, picks, and predictions might even be vibey, so to speak, but I digress. I can't see Islam not getting a hold of Jack Della Maddalena and being able to take him down, and not being able to take him down, excuse me. And when he does take down Jack Della Maddalena, I think that Islam will advance the position. He might get a takedown late in the first round, and there's not enough time for Islam to really work like that. But then gets one early in round 2, advances position, gets the sub. That's what happens. A little bit of ground and pound in between all that. That's what happens. Now, JDM's striking is extremely fucking crisp. Especially when you go back and rewatch it, man. It actually seems crazier than I remembered it, but I personally, Jack Della Maddalena is kind of like the forgotten champion. I always be forgetting. I'm like, damn, I forgot man's champion, but he's trying to defend his title for the first time. I just think that Islam is going to be able to get a hold of him, take him down, and there really won't be much for Jack Della Maddalena to do. Obviously, intro my favorite. Islam can strike too. That's the thing. Jack Della Maddalena, I don't know how, the difference between the grappling of Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev is way more in Islam's favor than the difference in the striking between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam being in Jack's favor. I think that's fair to say. I think that's how it's going to play out, but Jack Della Maddalena really is dangerous like that. He really is, so we'll just have to see. Round 2 submission for Islam is the final pick, though. Thank you for watching. I will say it again. I'm sure I'm going to record a separate intro actually right now for it, but I've recorded these picks and predictions about 4 times today. About literally like fucking 3 hours of me sitting here just saying the same stuff over and over again. So this time I tried to go through it quickly, and I recorded individual clips. I essentially recorded 14 2.5-minute clips. Those are going to be the fights. Going to edit and chop all those shits now. Please let me know if anybody actually knows why this happens. I'll be recording a video on my MacBook Pro in photo booth, right? Regular webcam shit. And then it just won't save the video. The video will say that it's 0 seconds long. There'll be no thumbnail, and it's nothing. There's nothing there. But I don't know. It seems if I keep the videos short, it stops that. Just wanted to say it one last time. Thank you again for watching. Last minute picks, kind of. I will see you tomorrow for the Smoky Hours Fight Companion, the live streams that we do every UFC event, not only the pay-per-views, but since it's a pay-per-view, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a long stream. I will be here for every minute of it, smoking big gas, talking the entire time. Come in, talk in the chat. We have a nice community that we've been building. It grows every week. Don't be a stranger. Hop in there, man. It's going to be me, a bunch of people in there. We have good times. Smoking, talking, having fun with the boys. A little bit of degenerate action. Bets on some of the fights. Coping, seething, crying, screaming. And we often have good side talks as well about non-MMA related things. So please join tomorrow. Whenever UFC 322 starts for you, I will be live on this channel. Do not be a stranger. Hop in. Again, thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. If you dislike the format of the video. If you dislike the picks, let me know in the comments below. Leave a comment on anything. Please, on the card, your picks in any individual fight. I always love reading the comments. I love responding to them. Love hearting them. Thank you guys all for commenting. Thank you guys all for watching. And as always, much love. Good kiss.